when it comes to leadership at work or when it comes to leadership at home, you want to tap into your strengths and what you're actually good at. And I'll start with the D style, because I use the D, I, S, and C. So I'll start with the D to keep me on track. The D style is definitely a natural leader. They're a natural leader and they take charge. They love to have a challenge. And so they're always ready for the challenge. In fact, in their work and at home, they need to have a challenge. And that is their natural strength. I will share just a tad on that, but sometimes our strengths can be pushed so far they become a weakness. And the weakness on that is whenever the D style is too direct, too driven, that they just kind of drag everybody else along with them or expect the exact same strengths from everyone else. So sometimes the D expects everyone else to be just like them, of which they are not. So, but the D is a natural leader. The I style person is very creative. And so one of their strengths is their creativeness. Now, sometimes you might have been told by a teacher, man, you're just dreamy. You're always dreaming, right? But you know, creativity is important. If you think about all the inventions around the world, all the modern conveniences that we have, somebody was creative in thinking of those things. It probably took a little bit of engineering also, but they were creative in that. And so often that high I discounts their talents because they are creative and maybe they're thinking that being artistic is not the same as being a super smart person. The creativity is important. And then as the S personality goes along, the S is that person who holds it all together. Their strength is doing for others and getting that appreciation back from others. It's very important to them as they are really big givers. So S's will always step out when it comes to maybe getting a social together at work, making sure everyone in the office has what they need to do their job, making sure everyone's comfortable and everything is going along nicely. And you know, that kind of goes at work. If you think about that person at work right now, that you're like, oh, they're always so nice. And they always say yes. Now, there's a little more story to that on that. When you always say yes, that can be challenging, but they always say yes. They're always willing to help. And you can see how that also works at home. And then the C style person, whenever their great talent is, they are so analytical. They are so analytical. So if they're buying a product, they're going to make sure they get the best product at the best price from the best place. So C's are very analytical. And if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking about your spouse and how very analytical they are, also they're very slow paced. And that's because they got to take a lot of time to analyze everything and make sure that they're getting the very best for their money. So you can think, so the C style, their strength is being very analytical and very detailed. And in the same way, the I style that we looked at earlier, they're not so detailed. They are people oriented. They're going to pay attention to the people and possibly not so much to the task. So you see, when you put all of those together, and here's the thing, out of the 4 personality styles, you're usually high in one style, and then you have a second style that kind of comes up maybe close to that or midways up. And then you may have just a little bit of the other 2. So every single person is a different combination. So it's not like, you know, if I'm a high I and I don't have any other qualities, you know, I have 2 other things, that the S and the C for me, that kind of come up in the middle. So every person has a different equation when it comes to that D, I, S, and C. When we look at the strengths of each person, whether it's in our household, we look at the conflicts that we have. When we start to take our eyes off of ourselves, did y'all hear that? We take our eyes off of ourselves and put them on the other person, then immediately there's less conflict. All of my life, I dance, I sing, and I've been in front of people, but I have never liked being in front of people. I was self-conscious, and it always bothered me. And it was real. But guess what? In the last couple of years, I learned to take my eyes off myself and stop thinking of my discomfort or about myself, and to look to the other person and think about them. And so even in this, as I teach behavior styles for couples, I don't mind being in front of people anymore, because I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about you. And I'm thinking about how I can change the lives of couples, and then I can change the lives of children. And I like to call that happy couples equal happier kids.